All right, welcome everybody to the premiere live signing. We are here today to talk about the can-do mindset with our author and esteemed athlete, Candace Parker. How you doing today, Candace?
What's up, Eric? How are you?
Doing good. I'm doing good. So we appreciate you, but let me introduce you to some of the fans that may not know your track record. So Candace Parker has already solidified herself as one of the most influential athletes of this generation. After being selected as the number one overall pick in the 2008 WNBA draft by the Los Angeles Sparks, following a champion career at Tennessee, Candace went on to become the first player to earn WNBA MVP and Rookie of the Year honors in the same season, win not one, not two, but three WNBA championship titles, and take home two Olympic gold medals. But off the court, first and foremost, she is a wife, a mother of three children and three dogs. Since retiring, she serves as a public speaker, activist, entrepreneur, and studio broadcaster for men's and women's basketball. So, with that, we would like to bid welcome to Candace Parker.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm excited for everyone to tune in. Obviously, learn a little bit more about me, but also some things we've been cooking up. It's over there. The can-do mindset. You got to check it out. And I know that's what you're gonna do, Eric. But I beat you to the punch.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it. But in case for you people tuning in, if you have not gotten your book yet, the book is available today, and signed copies are available at premiercollectibles.com/Candace Parker. So today we have several questions that we want to ask you, Ken. People want insight into your mindset of writing this book. So we're just going to dive into the questions and see what was your inspiration and what brought you to write this book. So that's really the first question. What was the inspiration behind writing the can-do mindset?
Well, first, can-do mindset. I'm really proud of how it came together. Shout out to Bria Baker for helping me write this book. But basically, my nickname growing up was Can, short for Candace. And growing up with my two older brothers, them being kind of like who I wanted to follow, my role models. I was 8 and 11 years younger than my older brothers, and so my mom saw me struggle, kind of measuring myself at 6, 7 years old against brothers that were way older and more accomplished and had been through the process. And so it started, a mantra started being kind of like can do. And then it's kind of stuck with me through everything. It stuck with me through, big free throws, trying to ace a test, like all of that. And so it's kind of become like my mantra in how I attack things, understanding that it's about the process and it's about, committing to working hard, and that drives success. And then it became an acronym, and that acronym is community, authenticity, navigating the negativity, obviously loving and being within where your 2 feet are in the dash, which is the journey, and seizing and creating opportunity. And so that's kind of the perspective of which I tell my story through. It's not a basketball book. So to all you out there that are unfamiliar with just basketball and all of that, this is a book that combines so many things: motherhood, relationship, battling through adversity, and just finding and being true to who you are. And so I felt like the time was right. I'm 16 years retired at this point, after I played 16 years in the league, and I'm 1 year retired. So this is kind of like my mini therapy a little bit in going through retirement, and writing this book and being able to kind of reflect on the career that I've had on the court.
Well, that's great to hear. It's not just the title, but there's an acronym and a saying behind the words of such an inspirational book for so many people. I mean, you kind of jumped ahead and got ahead of me with my next question, but that's okay. But we just want to know, what made you want to come out with this book now? Did you ever think about maybe writing this book earlier in your career, or what made you think that this was the right time for you to go ahead and write this book?
Well, first and foremost, I don't feel like there's ever a right time to do anything. Early in my career, I really was focused on trying to kind of, focus on my career and figure out who I was and what I wanted to do. And I felt like there was a lot more journey before me. And so with that being said, I feel like to some extent that it was a perfect time. It was kind of like they say athletes have two deaths. One when you retire from the sport you love. And with that being said, I think that this was, again, a mini therapy session for me to be able to reflect on all the things I've learned, all the things that, all the journey and all of that. And so to be able to do that at this time, again, there's not a perfect time, but if there was one, I feel like it is when something ends and you're able to reflect. So that's part of the reason why I decided it was the right time to write the book.
That's good. I think, coming to the end of your professional basketball journey and being able to reflect on what got you through all those years, all the ups and downs, and be able to share that with your fans and your followers, I think, it was perfect timing.
Well, I
So
appreciate you.
we're gonna move on to our next question. What's the main theme that you want the readers to gain from going through the Can Do mindset and reading your story?
The similarities in whatever you're going through, whether you're trying to win a championship, whether you're trying to get a job, whether you're trying to make it through school, whether you're trying to win your middle school basketball championship, I don't know, whatever journey or whatever goal you have, I feel like there's like a perspective and a mindset that you have to be able to accomplish that. And a mindset isn't, you don't shift it, you don't turn it off. It's not something that like with what you do, you act this way in one way and you act another way. Like I feel like your mindset is who you are, and you, again, in whatever you want to accomplish, I think you need to have discipline. I think you need to have diligence. I think you need to have great people around you, and that's super important. And you need to chase that. And so, in what I would like my readers to get from this book is that, yes, it is centered around being a basketball player, but really it's centered around your journey and what your passions are and how you accomplish that. And it's the ups and downs also. I think a lot of people, and me included when I was younger, I viewed athletes as these superheroes that never have bad days and think they can always do things. And I'm really raw in the book. Like I really talk about the struggles I had, really talk about the struggle in winning a championship and injuries and, some of the negatives that come along with how you get to the mountaintop. And so I think it can be applied in different areas of life and different perspectives. And so I'm really eager for the audience to read. Again, I cannot say this enough. It's not about basketball. It's about life.
That's great. So we're not just going to put you in a box and just,
Yes,
your book is not just about basketball. This is an overarching life journey.
No boxes, Eric. That's the big key. I got mad. They sent me my book in a box. I'm like, there's no boxes. We're not putting this book in a box.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they should have dropped it off in a drone, but we'll work on that for the next book.
Yes, 100%.
But today we're focused on the can-do mindset. So getting into your journey, we're gonna go, and then anybody in the chat, anybody that's watching, if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask Candace, please go ahead and put your questions in the chat. I see we have a lot of love for you in the chat, but if you guys have any questions that you've always wanted to ask, please get in there, and I'll keep monitoring the chat and see if we could ask some of the fan questions for you. 100%. So our next question for you is, at what age did you begin your basketball journey and start to play basketball?
That's so interesting. I feel like there's always been a ball in my crib. And I come from a basketball family. My dad played basketball at the University of Iowa, 72 to 76. And then, of course, my brothers played. My oldest brother played at Bradley and then went on to get drafted actually and play alongside Allen Iverson. He played with LeBron James. And, it's crazy how I watched and how I had a front row seat to that. And so while I didn't start really playing basketball till I was like 12 or 13 years old on a team, it's always been a part of it. Like YBA, I would play on Saturdays where you have like one practice a week and you just go and play. I was a major soccer player, so I loved playing soccer growing up. I played travel soccer and I kind of wanted my own thing. Volleyball was the same. I played volleyball in high school and I played club. So I think it's kind of like I fought it for a while because that was my brother's thing, but I really finally picked up the ball, and around 14 years old is when I really fell in love with it. And I fell in love with the game, and I couldn't think of anything else. I mean, it was my first love. I would do anything, anywhere a ball was bouncing, I was there. I wanted to, instead of going to Friday night movies with my friends, I wanted to go to the gym and work on getting better. And I think through my brother, I saw where basketball can take you. Like basketball has taken me on so many different journeys. I've met a lot of the people that are in my life as a result of basketball. I've traveled to so many different places because of basketball. And so I feel as though like I'm super grateful for the game. Like, but when I still sit down and watch it, I still am that like 14-year-old girl who just fell in love with basketball. And so, yeah, like basketball is a huge part of still what I do. I commentate, but if I didn't commentate, like I feel like Turner and Amazon, I'm like getting over on them because they're paying me to do something I would already do. Like I would already talk about basketball. Eric, you're over my house all the time. Basketball's always on. That's how it always on.
Always. If it's not a current game, it's a past game, a recorded game.
And then we gotta watch the game. Then we gotta watch the pregame show. Then we gotta watch the game. Then we gotta watch the breakdown of the game post game. Then the next morning we gotta watch the reactions after a couple hours of what the game means. So I'm addicted to basketball and to sports, and I'm just so grateful that I fell in love and I found my passion.
That's great because a lot of people currently think you just need to play one sport, but hearing your journey and you playing multiple sports. Is that something that you would recommend to people to try to figure out and find their passion?
Well, I do feel like, there's not a one size fits all approach, but I also believe that as a mom, I want my kids to play multiple sports. Like I want my kids to experience, and I feel like sometimes we generalize and specialize because we feel like we have to, because we're going to be behind if we don't in a skill set. Whereas, I feel like because of soccer, my footwork is the way it was in the posts and in transition and my ability to move and have the foot speed. I think because of volleyball, I was able to learn how to really jump and be explosive, whether I'm going to the basket or whether I'm jumping for a rebound. So I feel like playing other sports is never a bad thing. And I also just feel like as a kid, you should be able to explore your passions and you should be able to do different things. And so, I would encourage everyone to do that. And also, I mean, my kids are going to have no choice but to play a variety of sports. That's what it is.
That's great. That's great. So next, we're going to go ahead and take a question out of the chat here. We have a question from Rachel. It's a multi-part question, but I'll try my best to make it into one. She said, what was your favorite part about being coached by Pat, and what was your biggest takeaway from the great Coach Pat Summitt?
Well, as you can see over here, I have a really cool picture of Coach Summitt and I. One of my best friends, Justine Brown, gave it to me, and it's kind of super special because I feel like everybody sees her as like the coach, for basketball, but really it's about life. And so Coach was a huge role model in that, like, I think there's moments where you feel inspired and you want to do all the things that you should do, but Coach Summitt did all those things even when she didn't feel like doing them, when it wasn't popular, when it wasn't fun, when you weren't hanging banners. Like, I think that's the thing that I take the most from her, is that she never asked of others what she wasn't doing of herself. And that's why I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not Coach Summitt by any means, but like her message and her just action behind everything she said, like whatever she said, she was going to do. And I think there's tremendous power in that, in the amount of respect she gave, but also the amount of respect she commanded. And I think Coach Summitt, in terms of just leadership, was one of the best leaders ever. And not just in coaching women, not just in coaching period, but just from top to bottom, just great leadership. And I'm still learning lessons and getting lessons from her in the way that I parent, in the way that I operate as a teammate, as a coworker, as a leader, as a wife, all of these things. And so I'm super grateful for her in teaching me like how to operate in life and far after the ball stops bouncing. So
that's great.
Yep.
And I know you also live by one of her mantras, left foot, right foot, breathe. So you definitely live it. If I know about it, you've definitely shown it to me, and I try my best to follow some of her teachings as well.
Well, I have that actually tattooed right here in my arm. And I asked her, like, when things get tough, a lot of times it's the emotion that separates things. Like, things are, clear cut. There's things that you cannot control in life. But really, it's the emotional part of it that really gets in the way. It's not the actual thing that is occurring. And Coach Summit, no matter what, whether we were hanging banners where she deflected and wanted her team to get the credit and her coaching staff to get the credit, or whether it was her battling through, early onset Alzheimer's, like, she was the same person. And I asked her one day, I was like, how do you do that? And she said, I put one foot in front of the other. I left foot, right foot, breathe, and I repeat. And so that stuck with me so much, in times where sometimes you don't know your next step. You don't know how you're going to have the strength to do it, but it's just about getting up and actually starting it and committing to that action. And so, yeah, I think that that's a huge versus mantra of the way I live my life.
Yeah, that's great, and you have it tattooed on you, so it's not.
Oh, it's real. It's real. So I know it's not going away. It's going to be here forever.
Yeah, it follows you every day. So let's get back to part of the book. So, we see that the title of the book is The Can-Do Mindset. But can you share with us how or who gave you the nickname of Can-Do, and how did that make it onto the title of your book?
Yeah, my mom. My mom is the one that came up with the nickname Can, short for, Candace. My brothers extended Can to Can Do Anything and Get Away with It. So they thought I was the baby girl that had my parents wrapped around my finger, which I am. But at the same time, like, my brothers are the reason why I wanted to be and do all these things. I mean, seeing them, I had the best role models growing up down the hallway from me, and then going out in the world and showing me, like, okay, they did all this work inside our house, and now, like, what they accomplished as a result of committing to the process and committing to the work. And so I got my nickname, became a mantra, became an acronym in writing this book, but, like, it really represents, like, who I am, where I come from, and what I hope to build in the future. I think my community set the groundwork for who I am and what I wanted to surround myself with. And I think that if you ask somebody, like, who they are, you can see the people around them and really tell. And so I'm really proud of the family and the people that I have around me. Like, I mean, I would be nothing without them. I would be nothing without, my support and all of that. So I hope to build that for my kids and hope that they understand how important it is to surround yourself with amazing people, because it's done a lot for me.
Well, shout out to mom and the support system for coming through with the nickname and supporting such a great individual and someone that we all look up to. So, in case some of you logged on late, we want to remind you and let you know that the Can Do Mindset by Candace Parker is available today, right now. You can log on and get your signed copy, yes, signed by Candace, at premiercollectibles.com/Candace Parker. All right, so we're running through this, but let's get one more question from the chat. We know you've played across the world, so we're going to take a question from somebody overseas. We have a question from David that tunes in all the way from England. Way to go, David. That's dedication. Sometimes you got to wake up early for those games. But David's question is, which players inspired you to play basketball, and which basketball players do you enjoy watching?
Well, I was inspired by so many different basketball players. I would say I grew up watching the Houston Comets. That was what made me fall in love with women's basketball. I had a Kim Peratt jersey. I love Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper raising the roof and her mean mid-range step back, Cheryl Swoops, of course, raising the roof. Like, I was that kid. It's crazy. And so I think watching them and their battles against, New York and their battles against Los Angeles, like, it just saw what they brought out in their opponents. And, like, I don't know, I just wanted to be a part of something like that, especially aimed to play in the WNBA. And then in terms of, like, just basketball players, across the board. Obviously, my oldest brother, Anthony, was huge. Men's basketball, I would say it was like Allen Iverson. And as crazy as it sounds, at 6'4", a post player, point forward, AI just like inspired me to be who I wanted to be and who I was. And so watching him play was unbelievable. Obviously, I heard the legend of Cheryl Miller. She was a huge influence on, the athleticism, the skill set behind, doing what I hope to do on the court. Yeah, so I would say, and then now I really enjoy watching Asia Wilson play. I really enjoy watching Chelsea Gray play. I really enjoy watching Caitlin Clark play. Nafisa Collier has turned it up to a whole entirely different level. So I would just say those are probably the people that I really tune in. Brianna Stewart is another unicorn that is crazy. Satu Sabali, Leah, Boston. She's doing work in Indiana and has really done a good job of improving and coming back for this next year, ready to get after it. So I would just say, like, I'm enjoying the state of women's basketball right now. In terms of men's basketball, I would say I tune in to watch Steph Curry like everybody else. Anthony Edwards is so much fun to watch. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been one of my favorite players from the get-go, and how he gets to his spots and how he maneuvers and things like that. So it's crazy that my job is to commentate on this stuff, because I literally geek out and love watching everybody play nowadays.
I mean, as you guys can see, she is always watching games. She might have just railed off half of the league right there, but she is definitely tuned in. So we appreciate your time today. So we're going to get to one of our fan favorite segments here. We are going to do our rapid fire questions. So we have about 10 seconds. We're going to rattle off in about 60 seconds. Are you ready?
All right, let's see if I can answer them quick.
All right, let's do it. Starting with the first one. Where were you born?
I was born in St. Louis, the show me state. I'm a St. Lunatic. It was like before Nelly and all them put it on the map. So yeah.
Coming from the Lou.
Chingy.
All right, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color has been purple, but now it's starting to be like baby blue and orange. I know I picked 3 in that answer, but I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, we got half of the crayon box, but that's cool. What is the one thing you would need to have in your fridge at all times?
Cookie dough. I love cookie dough. It's my favorite thing. I know that's not the healthy choice, but I'm sticking with it.
All right. Who is the most interesting person you met recently?
Barack Obama. And I've met him before, but I got a chance to really sit down and like talk to him. This is last June, actually. And I got a chance to talk to him, and I think I'm the only person probably in the world. I went on Amazon and I got his high school jersey, and I got him to sign his high school jersey for me. So I still have to get it framed, but I have a Barack Obama signed high school that he went to in Hawaii, and he was number 23. And he said that he is the reason why Jordan wore 23, and he was before Jordan. So
wow.
Just throwing that out there.
Keeping it presidential with the high school jersey. Wow, that's amazing.
Can't pronounce the name of the school, otherwise I would say it.
All right. So next question. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, my biggest pet peeve. Oh my gosh, I know this is rapid fire. TikTok dancing.
Yeah, we've seen some of your TikToks, and I don't know if you've been in the 100% effort on those dance moves.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm like, no can-do mindset applies to TikTok dancing. So I need to get better. I need to get better at that.
All right, we're almost through. What is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby would probably be, I like to read, I would say. So I like reading. I love beach volleyball. So it's probably those two.
I'm sure you like to read this can-do mindset every day,
100%.
all day. Even though you live it, got to read it. All right, next. What is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Well, right now it's White Lotus, but guilty pleasure is probably 90 Day Fiance.
That's a good one. All right, what is your guilty pleasure junk food?
So I've been on like gelato lately. But a Pizookie. Like everybody that knows me knows like cookie dough in the fridge, a little ice cream in the freezer, a little whipped cream, take it out, put the ice cream on when the cookie's like all still hot and warm. And yeah, so definitely Pizookies are a must. And I don't eat a lot of like desserts and things like that, but Pizookies just do something to my soul.
All right, next one. What is the last artist or song you listened to that really resonated with you?
I'm in my Teddy Swims mode right now. Like I love him right now. So I would say Teddy Swims, but of course, like Jay-Z's, I listen to Jay every day. But Teddy Swims right now, he's killing it. He's got me in my feelings.
Yeah, Teddy Swims, amazing album. All right, your last rapid fire question, even though we went at a snail's pace. Where do you want to go that you've never been before? Anywhere in the world.
I want to go to Thailand.
Ooh,
I don't know if White Lotus has anything to do with that, but I want to go to Thailand.
You know, that might have been a slight influence. The show might have pushed you to go to Thailand, but hey, that's not a bad place to visit. But we appreciate your time today, Candace. Thank you for joining us on the premiere live signing. Just a reminder to everybody before we log off, please, I say, please, you can get this today. Get the Can Do Mindset is available today by Candace Parker. The signed copy is available at premiercollectibles.com/Candace Parker. And Candace has her signed copy. So I think you guys should get yours.
I just signed it. So yeah, got it.
So again, we appreciate your time. Thank you. And everybody for tuning in and sending your questions in the chat. We all appreciate you guys. And thank you for your time today, Ken. And we will go and get that book.
I appreciate you, Eric. I'll see you in a second because you're in another room in my house.
Oh, man. You let them know what's going on behind the magic.
All right. Appreciate it, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.